Well, first of all, I must thank you all, thank Heide, and Cecil, but thank you everybody here for staying until now. And in a way, I am quite happy to be one of the last people to present in this conference, because I think in a way the Nachira experience unites a little bit of what everybody has said, because we also have archaeological sites where we have found bits of matriarchal archaeological footsteps. And in fact, if you stay until I give Heide her birthday gift, you will be able to see that that is not just imagination, but that is real and it actually exists. First of all, I must say that the title of my conference is Heide's Inspiration for the Matriarchal Eco-Village Nachira in Colombia. Also, from Mother Nature to Nachira Eco-Village. In 2013, Heide Göttner-Abendroth was invited to Colombia to give her opinion about the eco-village Nachira, where 88 women were striving to build a model of a modern matriarchal society. So far, we don't know where she actually gives her welcome or not, or where Nachira is really matriarchal in her terms, because you are still waiting for her approval or for complete approval. According to Heide, matriarchal societies are consciously built upon maternal values and motherly work. And this is why they are much more realistic than patriarchies. They are, on principle, need-oriented. Their precepts aim to meet everyone's needs with the greatest benefit. Great care is taken to provide a balance between genders among generations and between humans and nature. So, in matriarchies, motherhood, which originates as a biological fact, is transformed into a cultural model. Of course, as you know, fatherhood is an act of faith. This model is much more appropriate to the human condition than the way patriarchies conceptualize motherhood and use it to make women, and especially mothers, into slaves. You can see here Heide in our conference in Colombia in 2013. Ecology is a word derived from the Greek oikos, meaning house, and logos, meaning reason or plan. It is therefore a science that studies the relationships of living beings with each other and with the habitat. The Nachira project first challenge was to acquire a farm where a group of women could build their own houses and with sufficient space so that they could grow at least some of their own food. They acquired legal title to the houses of their own, from which nobody could evict them since they were gratis and they didn't have to pay for them. Least of all, their male companions or husbands. The land empowered them. Their houses were symbolically and metaphorically wombs to which they could welcome a companion on their own terms, and also thereby control and manage the exercise of their own sexuality. Their homes were therefore very important and belonged to them, and it was really what empowered them. Appropriately and conscientiously, the farm that was donated for building the project was in exactly the same area where 2,000 years ago, the florist and indigenous community known as the Malagana culture or Cansateura, which archaeologically evidence suggests was a matriarchal society. This is very important in this conference because I have seen that Barbara, Mary, in fact, Joan, all of them have referred to archaeological footprints of matriarchal society. And this matriarchal society seemed to have flourished 2,000 years ago, but the thing which is interesting is that it was only found 40 years ago. A difference from Mexico, from the Incas, and from other archaeological sites in Latin America. In Colombia, because of the fact that the Spanish came to look for gold, for El Dorado, the Colombian, which were the chieftains, were not very sophisticated. They actually said to the Spaniards that in that lake, the caciques were actually going to have a gold bath, so they could find the gold at the bottom of the lake. So the Spanish spent most of the time looking at the bottom of the lakes, so they never found the graves where real gold was and where there were gold figures. So this culture was discovered 30 years ago when somebody was actually, this is one of the more fertile lands, and Nachira just happens to be there in Colombia, and is mostly planted by sugarcane. And what they did is that they found a gold figure that was shining there, and they didn't know what it was. When he found it, it was a beautiful figure, a very small, tiny figure, and it was a woman who actually was giving birth, making gold. And from there on, they opened these graves, and they found some of these gold figures, but also earthenware. And this you can see, and you could see it for real if you stay here after my talk. This is a woman who is pregnant, giving birth, and at the same time breastfeeding. But the face is anthropomorphic. That means that this must have been a goddess. And when they opened these graves, it was eerie. It was so fantastic, the power that they had. And that is what some of these things that they found. The Malagana culture, these archaeological discoveries are very similar to those found by Maria Gimbutas in Europe, which led her to believe that some of the human societies, or the first human societies, were matriarchal. That means that these pre-Columbian societies must have also been matriarchal. But obviously not even the archaeologists today, they say that they were matriarchal. The Malagana culture worshipped the earth mother. Breastfeeding and giving birth were central to the religion, as can be seen from the clay and gold figures found in recently uncovered burial sites. Oh, sorry. You can see here, this is another pregnant woman. Ceramic figure of multiple breasts. And the moment of childbirth shown in a gold pectoral where a child is pushing himself with the hands to be born, were objects of worship together with the sun and the moon. European colonization was accompanied by religious catechization and destroyed intimate relationship with Mother Earth, as Vandana Shiva emphasizes in her writing. Colonialism established a price for captured men and as slaves, and for the bodies of women as sex objects for the use of the patriarchal invaders. They devalue motherhood and establish patriarchal paradigms that still dominate and subvert the indigenous communities that strive to preserve their ancestral tradition. The Kogi, perhaps up here. Nope. No. What the? I don't seem to be able to move it. That's it. That's it, okay. The Kogi indigenous communities of the Sierra Nevada and Santa Marta, who actually went after Heide's matriarchal circles in Colombia. Well, it's supposed to be a matriarchal community, but in some aspects, the tradition had been altered and hijacked by patriarchal paradigms. The Mamo or shaman is the all-powerful head of the community and chooses a husband for his daughter according to their usefulness to him and the family. The Nachira eco-village where women rule is a modern effort to revive ancestral indigenous customs based on the tradition of matriarchal society and giving back to mothers the control of the land. 88 women were given the opportunity to create a sustainable eco-village. They grow a high proportion of their own food on organic principles, including plantain, sachainchi, which I don't know whether you know what it is. It's a wonder seed. Chirimoyas. You see grapes, chirimoya, yes. You see our hens also do it grapes. Yeah, you see grapes. And many more tropical fruits and vegetables. The sun provides the energy to cook on a solar kitchen. And contrast to conventional patriarchal communities, neighbor gives and receive gifts according to their needs and to those of their children. We have a solar oven, we have a kitchen, a restaurant. The houses in Nachira were built with ecologically friendly materials. All households are headed by women, and most actually help to build their own houses. Many households consist of women only. You can see here how the houses are. Yamile Perdomo has 7 children, and her first child was born when she was 13. The father of her children had to be expelled from Nachira for repeatedly drunken and violent behavior. And in some cases, the eldest son and the brother has taken on the role of father, as in the case of Elsie's family. That is Elsie's family, so definitely she's a matriarchal, and her eldest son is the one who does the job of father. As an open-door community, children and the elderly are never alone. The activities of the women of Nachira include making pottery. You can see a family there. Boys are allowed to play with dolls as well. The activities of the women of Nachira include making pottery, in some cases using the Malagana designs, you can see here. Another group, here you can see, another group makes objects from papier-mâché, makes paper, they are making paper, making papier-mâché, she makes figures from papier-mâché. Or people actually do use compost. There are 37 different small productive units in Nachira. These are making compost through worms. A group of women collect and recycle organic waste in an electric van, and they collect the waste 30 kilometers around. And that is a prosperous form of generating some sort of income. And this you can see, they take them to a warehouse where they separate them and metal, plastic, and glass. And this is sometimes made into new products, and other times they are just being used to generate some income for them. We make bottles, we make baskets for flowers out of bottles, and we have some of them have hens, and others have turkeys, and we used to have quails. But when Heide came, she thought it was really very cruel the way we actually had quails, so we stopped the quail idea. Because they were all stuck together in different places, and somehow it was not very, it was a little bit cruel, on the quails. Don't you think, Heide? Yes. So we stopped quails because of that. All administrative decisions are taken by consensus. The consumption of alcohol. Well, we also have there is a horse there, and so some of the local transport is done on a horse-drawn carriage, and obviously, we use the horse, whatever is done for composting. All administrative decisions are taken by consensus. The consumption of alcohol is not encouraged, and men who have incurred violent acts against their partners or children have been expelled. There is little crime in Nachira. Violence against women have been almost eradicated. Nachira is proud to be a community with open doors where women support each other, and men have developed a new culture of love and respect for women. Even though when Heide was there, they actually, some of them asked them why they didn't have voice. So she suggested that we should have a council of men. But when it was proposed to the women, they say no. No thanks. It has been very difficult to be where we are now. So child care and maintaining of the eco-village are tasks shared through mingas or collective work assignments. The floor of the agora you can see, or our meeting place, is one example of the solar clock, one example. And you can see here, this is the agora, our meeting place. That was the matriarchal circle that we had when Heidi was there. And Lida Riule's banners were there. We actually took them all over the town, walked with them. Yeah. Well, you can see here, this is the solar clock, which was made by the young people of Nachira. It's another example of the collective work. The fountain of the Pachamama, you can see now. Let me just see. Was also meant by collective work. You can see everybody, both women and men, working there. In this fountain was part of a project made by a Swedish artist, which considered the Nachira Eco-Village like her own canvas. And yes, and she was, there you can see, if you can see it in the middle, there is a pregnant man made with blonde hair. Since she was Swedish, they thought that they should actually make it as a blonde woman. And in this fountain, we have a bicycle to activate a busy shower. We also have a composting toilet, and the walls were made with bottles, and the bottles were collected in some of the peace marches in Colombia. Well, here you see Cecil in one of the conferences. Here you see Heidi and Arela with the twins, which are now 17, and now they are thinking of going to university this coming year. These are some of our children. This is the tree of gifts, where everybody who gives whatever time, whatever little they can, they have a leaf there. And in fact, we have the bank of time, where professionals, where lawyers, where people who can teach English, people who can do anything, can give their time, and they give it for free. So all what they get is a leaf in that tree. So there are the leaves of everybody who has given something. It doesn't matter if it's just 1 hour of the time. When in Nachira, we are proud of Ruby Hurtado. She's a single mother, the only one we have had so far, and she got pregnant when she was 18. Now she's 19, and she has won a scholarship to study law. So even though she's a single mother, she is being able to go to university, which is an excellent thing. Otherwise, we have managed to abolish teenage pregnancy, thanks to making use of the government possibility of family planning, which is, of course, going behind the back of the church. And I tell you, they use something called la pila, which I don't know what is the name in English, but it means that they actually can do it with. In Nachira, we are very proud of Ruby. She is a single mother, age 19. Ruby is the first person in her family to be able to go to university. In its 18 years of existence, the Nachira Eco-Village has contributed by changing traditional paradigms. Women are respected, and unwanted adolescent pregnancies are no longer the norm. Women have an opportunity to achieve their true potential, freed from many of the traditional obstacles that were and are consequently of a patriarchal norm. The future is in the hands of those who dream and have the courage to make their dreams come true. We have been in Nachira 18 years, and we are still wondering whether we are really matriarchal or not. Thank you very much.